Diego Delgadillo.
It takes a while. It takes a while for anyone to get right, and then I meet people and they never like. It's never a smooth transition, but that was pretty good.
Thank you.
That was good.
Delgadillo. Yeah, I was just asking Diego what his last name is, and I said it like 5 times because I didn't want to fuck it up.
That was good. That was good. Sometimes I'm on shows and people will just be like, "Give it up for Diego," and they just give up before I even get close to the stage.
At least he tried. Someone the other day introduced me at St. Mark's. I won't say who. And he didn't. He obviously couldn't even remember my name. And he goes, "Give it up for him."
Well, I get it. I've been there too. Where it's like, oh fuck, I should have wrote this down somewhere. I don't know who's coming up.
I would always write it on my hand or just have a note just in case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I do the like repeat in my head, and I get up there. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't have it,
Dude, that's why I have a fear of like doing hosting permanently or a lot because I forget names. Like it's really easy for me to forget names.
I mean, like just outside of doing a show, outside of comedy, because I like sometimes you talk about comedy on a podcast, people don't get. But outside of comedy, just in general, meeting people and like knowing their names, I'm the worst.
Yeah,
I can't. I'll shake your hands. I'll meet you maybe 10 times before it sticks. And the safest play is always just remind me your name. Just being upfront because I can't front like I know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm getting a lot better at that though. I would just ask people, I'll be like, "Hey, remind me your name again." But I'm the same as you until I've hung out with someone and I've become
like one-on-one.
Yeah, and we've just had a bit of rapport and there's something to remember you by. Mm-hmm. I don't remember the name. Just the interaction, "Hey, how you doing?" every now and again is not enough for me.
No, I work in a coffee shop and like we have to write people's names down. And that is the most like awkward, especially someone that comes in every day. It's like, I don't give a fuck about you. You give me money. That's it. You give me money and I write your name down. So half of this exchange has to be me asking your name because I can't.
Do you think they're half expecting you? Like if they're
sometimes,
regulars,
there's some
like,
people that
how do you not remember my name?
There's some people that are like another day. It's like, yeah, this isn't. I don't get paid to remember your name. I get paid to make your drink.
What about spelling names? Do they get offended if you don't spell their name right?
I'm supposed to ask how to spell it, like according to company policy. I'm supposed to ask how to spell it. I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna take the time because if I know how to say your name, I'm gonna say your name and you come get the drink. That's it.
Yeah.
Does it matter at the end of the day whether I spelled Brittany right? Also, half of the names are like, okay, not. I want to applaud. You know how like East Asian people come to the U.S. and they usually pick like Western names.
Yes.
The one group of people from East Asia that don't do that is Indian people. Indian people never pick a new name, and I respect that to an extent, but also understand I'm not gonna spell it right.
Will you just spell it as you kind of hear it?
Yeah, Shibuti. I'm gonna guess Shibuti, and they're like, you forgot an S. Why is there another
some
S?
people say that? Do they pick you up on the spelling?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
100%.
I'd be as long as my coffee is my coffee, I would not care.
No, I'm a piece of shit. I would also be like, yo, how did you write my name right?
Really?
If I was a customer, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you deserve it then. Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. It's a two-way street.
I would not get offended if someone did not spell my name right at all. I would not care.
Also, no, the first time I ever did a comedy show, like I was booked on a show and asked to be on a show, they didn't remember my name. I don't know what happened, but they just wrote my name down as Dakota.
What?
I don't know how that happened. I was like, they hardly wanted me on the show. I showed up and they wrote down Dakota. They're like, "Hey man, sorry, we forgot your name." And I was like, "Well, where did Dakota come from?" They're like, "I don't." So then I did the show.
Damn.
I mean, I had to correct them, but yeah.
Dakota.
Because also I don't look like a Diego. Like I don't look like.
No, Diego I would think of as like a Mexican.
Like a brown looking guy?
Yeah. Just someone from Latin America.
Which, yeah.
Yeah.
But we come white too. We got white people down there.
There are some whites. I saw a redhead when I was in.
That's common. That's very common.
Yeah, in Ecuador. But he had dark brown skin and red hair. I was like, that is blowing my mind right now. I couldn't take my eyes off this kid.
Okay, that's not as common. We like there's parts of like Guadalajara is like there's a lot of redheads in there. Like Jalisco, like where tequila comes from. There's redheads in that area.
So I assumed, because you said you're from San Diego.
Yeah.
I assumed did your parents call you Diego because of San Diego? Is there some symmetry there?
Maybe. I don't know. I think my parents just kind of picked it because like growing up, there's at least like in grade school and like growing up, there's always another 2 or 3 Diegos next to me or like within the vicinity. Like I could throw a rock and hit another kid named Diego.
Right.
And so it's just a common name. The Hispanics don't get creative. We're pretty run of the mill with names. It's like you got like 6 to choose from. Take your pick.
Legit?
Yeah. Like my mom's name is Isabel, and then my sister's name is Isabella. Like they didn't. There's no creativity.
Wow.
Amongst.
What? That's weird to me.
Yeah, that's how do Australians name their?
Yeah, we got a lot of names, but they're like just British names, like Harry, Thomas, Cameron, Michael. They're generic.
Do you guys have like I don't know shit about Australian culture. Is there like the native group of people? What are those names like? Or have they just gone full?
Okay, I don't even know if I know.
Or like, what's a popular ethnic group in Australia?
Well, there's Indigenous. We have the Indigenous. We got Torres Strait Islanders. Well, like for example, I'm just thinking of some Torres Strait Islander names. Torenzo was a name.
Torenzo, that's a sick ass name.
Yeah, that is sick. He was a big football player at our school. Well, we got Italians. We got like my city was pretty white, dude.
Okay. Where are you from?
Brisbane. Yeah, it's pretty white. It's not like it's on the east coast above Sydney.
Okay.
You'll know it in like 6 years' time when we have the Olympics, or 7 years' time. But it's very white. It's not like you guys. Like, because I've heard that Florida, for example, is like 80% Latino now.
Probably. Like South Florida for sure. Yeah.
And I'm assuming California is pretty heavy Latino.
Where I grew up, it's mostly, like as far as ethnic groups, it's Filipinos and Mexicans.
Yeah.
Filipinos and Mexicans is what we got. They're cool people. And it's also culturally very similar. So it works out. Yeah, I don't know. I forget that like you go to another country and it's like mainly just people from that country. Like only in America do we have.
It's very multicultural.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the most multicultural countries.
Have you lived anywhere else other than America?
I lived in London for a while.
What was that like?
That's very multicultural as well.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of Indians, a lot of Pakistanis. They also had a lot of migration when all like the wars in the Middle East were happening, and like what were those guys? All those guys, ISIS. I was
Wait,
thinking
what is this?
This is the beheading, the beheaders. So when ISIS, and they had a lot of immigration through from the Middle East and like Africa and stuff like that.
Damn.
So yeah, there was areas of London that were just like African and just.
Yeah, London's probably like their Miami, where it's like the closest point and everyone just goes to there.
Totally.
Yeah. That's sick. London scares me, not because of like the different groups, but I just feel like I would not mesh with culture in London in general. Like I feel like it's too big.
How do you find, as like with being American, do you guys think you mesh better with British or Australians?
Probably Australians, but I think we suck ass at meshing in general. Like I feel like wherever we go, we're like, this sucks. How do we make it ours?
Yeah.
How do we stick our fingers in this?
Yeah.
You guys don't have hot dogs over here? Let's get some hot dogs going.
It is a bit like that traveling. When I was traveling in the past, when I would come across a group of Americans, they'd be like, "Whoa, we're Americans. We're number one." You know, like, shut the fuck up, dude.
It's also not that we're number one. It's also like, we got cool shit. Let's sprinkle a little bit over here. I don't. Is your wife American?
Nah. Well, she is now. She's a citizen, but she's Australian.
She's Australian.
She's lived here 20 years.
Oh, okay. So do you guys have this thing in Australia where like I'm Mexican and Colombian culturally, right? But like I'm American because I was born here. And so like I go there, I can't claim that they'll make fun of me because they're like, you're American. You guys have that? Like, do you make fun of her for being American?
Nah.
Damn.
Nothing.
That sucks. I feel like it doesn't exist any other culture.
Do you speak Spanish?
Yeah, I speak Spanish.
Did you grow up speaking Spanish in your household?
Yeah, my grandma kind of like raised me for like a little bit until she passed away, and she didn't speak any English. So it was like my Spanish was great because I lived like pretty much with her and only spoke to her, and then she passed away, and then it kind of like fades. But it's also like where I grew up. Spanish is like pretty prominent. And so like you go to the grocery store, you speak Spanish with the teller. You're at like I worked at one place where like everyone there was primarily customers from like Mexico, because I live like right next to the border, and you talk you speak Spanish with the customers because they don't speak English. So
I noticed that when I was in Miami, everyone at all the tellers at the shops were all Spanish speaking.
Yeah.
Like they spoke very little English.
Yeah, and
Everyone was speaking Spanish to them.
It's kind of sick, especially looking like me, because I look just like this is Caucasian. This is I'm a white guy.
You're a whitey.
And then people like talk shit about me in Spanish, and I could just like, this is sick.
Has that happened before?
Dude, this happened the other day here. I'm working I work at a coffee shop, and these group of girls walk in, and I can tell they're like we call them like fresas, which is like the like richer upper class white kind of like, it's almost like the Valley Girl for Mexicans, right? And they're like talking shit, blah blah blah, and then they order to me in like broken English, and then once they're done with their order, I finally asked them in Spanish. I was like, "Where are you guys from?" And they're like, "You spoke Spanish this whole time?" And I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "Where are you?" And I'm wearing a San Diego hat, like from San Diego. They're like, "We're actually from San Diego." And I was like, "Really?" And they're like, "Well, no, we're from Tijuana, which is across the border from San Diego." And then I was like, "Oh yeah, see, blah blah blah." And then they were like, I was like, "What part of like Tijuana are you from?" And they were like, "Oh, we're from this part, which is the rich neighborhood." And I told them where my family's from, and they went, "Oh." And I was like, "All right, well, I grew up on the other side, so keep that in mind."
Yeah.
Keep that in mind while you're judging. But yeah, they'll talk shit.
Wow.
And then they'll also talk shit even if you do speak Spanish. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, this whitey he's not speaking the right Spanish, or he doesn't speak like us, or he all this privilege because he grew up in the you know what I mean?"
Wow. There's like this. There's like a bit of friction between the two classes of people.
It's not necessarily friction. It's more of like yeah, we got culture, you don't because you grew up in the U.S. You know?
That's interesting. I don't know that. I would love to bust someone like that. That would be so fun.
Oh, yeah. I used to, so like when I was a kid, like for work, I would referee like local youth soccer games, or football games. And I was like 12 years old. I would spend like 12 hours a day on like a Saturday or Sunday just refereeing soccer games back to back to back. And a lot of the teams were like primarily Hispanic kids. And so the parents are yelling at you, talking shit. You're already going to get shit because you're the referee. On top of that, you're going to get shit because you're a little kid. And then on top of that, you're going to get shit because you're a white guy that's fucking up the game for their kid that's going to be pro one day. And so they're just screaming at you like, "You suck ass. You don't know what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. Why are they letting a kid referee this other kid's games? This is ridiculous, blah, blah, blah." And then you just like turn and put them in place because it's like, "Hey, I'm in charge. I'm 11 and I'm in charge, and you're an adult. Leave. Like, you're out. You're gone." And then you could like kick parents. It was pretty sick.
Literally?
Yeah, it was the best. It was awesome.
Wow.
Made cash.
Wow.
I feel like that's not that
That's so cool.
exciting, but yeah.
No, that's sick. I used to play soccer.
Yeah, what'd you play? You like a forward?
I was left defense.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
I loved it. Soccer's a great game.
Yeah, it's also like it's so international. It's so broad. People anywhere it translates.
But you know what? Professionally, I think the guys are kind of ruining the sport.
In what sense?
In the sense of when they get their fouls and they just fall to the ground and they go, "Ugh," and they just do these big fakies. I can't stand that shit.
It's funny seeing little kids do that. You seen little kids do it?
No.
It's the best. It's the best. Because it's like, oh, they definitely learned this from somewhere. It's also like, you're 7.
Dude, they should get sent off for doing that. I think if you could mold that out of the sport, it'd be fantastic.
What's popular sports in Australia?
AFL?
AFL,
Do you know
Australian
AFL?
Football League.
Yeah.
Is that like you guys have different, like you guys can bounce it with your hands?
So when you're running, you bounce it kind of like a basketball, but it's a ball that's shaped like a football.
Uh-huh.
So you sort of throw it on one end and it bounces back.
Right.
And then you can kick. You kick the ball forward. You kick it any direction.
Is it like rugby?
Not really.
How do you score?
There's like 4 goalposts.
There's 4.
Yeah, so you've got to kick the ball between.
If you kick it under, you get like 1 point. If you kick it up top, you get 2.
Nah, if you go between the middle 2, you get 6 points, I think it is. And then the outer post is 1 point.
Okay. How big
Yeah.
is the field? It's pretty big.
Huge.
Did you play that growing up?
Yeah.
Can you tackle people and shit?
Yeah.
Nice.
Tackle, jersey sling, like shoulder barge. It's
Those are made up words. That's not real. Jersey sling and shoulder
jersey
barge?
sling. You know when you grab some jersey, you just go. Rah!
Yeah, that's a 15-yard penalty. That's called a horse collar.
Dude, American football to me is so lame.
No, you never played. It's awesome.
I never played, but It looks boring.
No, because it's really like hitting someone. Because when you're wearing pads, there's no like, oh, fuck, what if I hurt myself? It's, all right, let's see.
Does it give you a lot of courage when you got those pads on?
Yeah, you're doing stupid. You're headbutting people. When growing up playing football, I didn't get a lot of playing time. So my favorite thing to do to pass time was look at my stupid friends next to me on the sidelines and just headbutt them with the helmets. It's like, I'm not going to get in the game anyways. Might as well look like I'm playing.
So will you just run into them just head first?
Oh, not necessarily running in, but like you're standing next to someone, they're pissing you off. You just like, poof. Yeah, it's fun.
CTE?
I mean, I'm not going to get it. I didn't get enough playing time. You have to play to get CTE.
So you're just not good enough?
No, I mean, I was like a little guy growing up.
I mean, you're pretty tall now. What are you, like 6'2", 6'3"?
Yeah, that didn't happen till late.
Okay.
That didn't happen till late. And also, I'm like, even though I'm tall, I'm not.
You're skinny.
I'm not a big guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, honestly, if you can, just rent a pair of like football pads, get in a couple of buddies, and just hit each other.
Okay.
For like a couple hours on Sunday. You'll have a good time.
Okay. Well, I'd like to get into baseball here.
Baseball's great. Do you guys play baseball? You guys play baseball?
We play it. There is a professional league. My friend follows it. Not many people, so it's small. It's very small, but we play at school.
Okay.
You know, PE. Do you call it PE?
What's
PE? Physical.
PE. Yeah.
PE, physical education. Yeah, we play baseball in school. Softball's fun as well. And then we played. Is that T-ball?
Yeah, when it's on a tee.
Yeah, we played that as well. That's fun. There's no stakes. There's low stakes of that, but it's fun.
You just play that like you guys have recess?
Nah, we would play football at recess.
How does school work?
So okay, so we would have we have primary school and high school. We don't have. You guys have 3 schools.
Sometimes,
you?
yeah, we have like elementary, middle, and high school.
Yeah, so we get primary school, high school. Primary school, it's changed a bit now because when I went through, it was year 1 to 7 was primary school, and then year 8 to 12 was high school. Mm-hmm. And we would have like 2 subjects. High school, you'd have 2 subjects, morning tea, 2 subjects, lunch.
What the fuck is morning tea?
Morning tea is like your recess.
Okay, why do they call it morning tea? Are kids drinking tea?
No, kids wouldn't drink tea.
Okay.
But it's just morning tea. I think it's comes from the British.
Okay.
Yeah. And
that doesn't piss you off?
No.
That would piss me off.
Dude, that's all we know.
Yeah, but that's like, they left that here. Let's make our own thing.
Well, in construction, we call it smoko.
What's
Have
construction?
You heard of,
like working in construction.
Yeah.
You worked in construction.
Yeah, I'm an electrician. So our lunch breaks were smoko.
Like a smoke break.
Yeah, but smoko.
What does that mean?
I don't know. It's just what it's called, smoko. It's been called smoko for like 300 years. It started in the Navy. The British Navy called it smoko. And then we have a town in England called Smoko. In Australia called Smoko.
Damn, that's how embedded that they are in Australia that you just thought it was England.
I know.
You guys are part of the Commonwealth, right?
Like
that's how that works?
Yeah.
So did you get excited when the Queen died?
Nah. I like the King though.
You like the...
Yeah, I like that we're in the Commonwealth. I have no issue with that. I'm all for it.
Even though you're so far away?
Nah.
Okay, wait. Let's go back to school. How does school work?
Okay. So then 2 subjects is lunch, and then 2 subjects you're out. So it's 6 subjects in high school.
Yeah, okay. That's pretty much the same.
Okay. And then primary school was, I guess, the same, but it wasn't like, you didn't have subjects. It was just whatever. You just learned whatever you were learning. Mm-hmm. I don't remember what.
But what's school culture like? You guys have like dances and shit?
Yeah. High school, we'd have like school dances where you dance with. So I went to a private boys' school, Catholic school.
Nice. Come on, give me 5.
So we were like a middle class family.
Okay.
And there would be school dances where we would like interact with other girls' schools. Sports, we would play other.
You guys were all boys.
All boys.
Okay.
No females at high school. And then we would have like sports where we would play other male schools.
Mm-hmm. I'd hope so.
Yeah.
Just
we didn't play females. Yeah, that would be fun though.
That's so fun.
Dude, in winter we had a snowball fight here. Uh-huh. I was at the Grizzly Pear Midtown.
Okay.
And dude, it was bucketing down snow.
Okay.
And it was my very first ever snowball fight.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you. And dude, the women were joining in, the men were joining in, and I was like, oh, fuck, I can throw snowballs at women. I was packing these things.
That's so fucked
dude,
up.
I was going for the head, man, for everyone. Like, man, women, no one was safe. And I was like, the road, there was these just random guys walking on this side of the road, and then they were fighting us on this side of the road, and then I got in the middle, and I was just going both sides, like just
hitting.
It was,
hit.
And then people were taking the snowballs inside the pub, throwing them inside the pub.
Oh.
It became mayhem, but it was so much fun, dude.
You guys don't have that in Australia.
No,
we don't have, dude. I didn't see snow until I came to New York.
Oh, truly?
I'd never seen snow in my life until like 3 months ago.
It's the best.
It's all right.
I like it.
Yeah, but I busted my ass a couple of times just walking in snow. You got to be
Really?
careful.
Yeah, you do.
You got to
Yeah.
like take bigger steps.
You kind of have to have a little bit of your wits about you, Diego. You can't be like a 6'2" lanky retard. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I am, though. That's why it's hard. That's why it's hard. Wait, hold on. Go back to school, though. What's happening? You guys were...
Well, school is just school, man. Like, I don't know. Like, we recess, like, you know, you look forward to the recess. You look forward to lunch. I got busted smoking a lot. I went to boarding school in year 12.
Like smoking cigarettes. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Do you ever do any of that dumb shit?
I haven't had a cigarette in a month after a beautiful relationship of 3 long years.
Nice.
1 month without a cigarette.
Hell yeah. Did you get on the Zins instead?
No, I haven't touched. I have this thing. It's like an OCD thing where it's like it's either I'm doing something or I don't do something. If I'm doing Zins, it's like I might as well just have a cigarette.
Yeah, I've given up the cigarettes too.
What's the punishment for like in school?
A Friday detention.
Friday detention. That's it. You're not even here. If you get caught with like anything, you're probably like suspended.
Low shit.
3 months. Yeah.
Wow. You probably are now. I don't know. I think everything's just getting more strict and softer now. But tell me about your school. You guys got high school, junior school, middle school.
Yeah. It's like so you have elementary.
Yeah.
Right. That's like 1 through 6, 1 through 5 some places.
Okay.
And then you have middle, which is like 7 and 8, or 6, 7, and 8 some places.
Oh.
And then you have high school.
That must be a small school then.
No, sometimes they're the biggest because they only have like one middle school per every area, so that it like evens out with the high school.
Right. What's that like changing so many schools?
It's kind of nice.
Okay.
You switch people, you know, especially in such a like big school. You're not going to see like my graduating class was like 1,500 kids.
Your class?
Like, or maybe that 1,500 is an oversell. It's probably like 1,000 kids that graduated at the same time.
That's a lot.
Right?
You would not know everyone.
Hell no.
Not even close.
But where I grew up is like super towny. Everyone still knows each other. It's weird.
Right.
That's the worst.
Okay.
It's just like small town shit is everyone knows everybody. People don't leave. People stay and like I couldn't even explain it. You can't go to the store without running into someone you know.
I get it, man. We got small towns at home.
It's just, I would hope so.
Yeah, you can't literally walk down the road without seeing
somebody. And then now you got to talk to them. And now you got to be like, oh, how's it going? You find out their kid's been arrested. It's like, oh, well, sorry to hear that. Yeah.
And then high school, I guess the best thing about middle school is if you had a bit of strife in middle school, like you didn't get along with people, you were getting bullied, then you can kind of redeem yourself in the
the high school. Yeah,
what's your latest one called?
Yeah, high school.
High school?
That's it.
Yeah. And then did you go to college?
I went to college. Yeah.
Where'd you go?
I went to San Diego State.
Nice.
So I stayed kind of low. It was cool.
Is that free when you go to a state?
No.
Okay.
It's sometimes more expensive, but I got by. It wasn't too bad paying for because it is cheaper. They give you a discount if it's a in-state school, and so.
So is it run by the state?
Not really.
Okay, so it's not a government.
It's not, but it is, but it's not.
Gotcha.
It was cool. In college, I was doing comedy, so I was like checked out. I would just show up for classes, just went to graduate and then left.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything crazy.
How the hell did you discover comedy so early? I admire that. I think it's really cool, and it's also very fortunate.
Thanks.
Because it's like such a long road. The earlier you can figure it out, the better.
Yeah, that's what people say. But then when you start comedy, like I started at like 17, 18. There's always a barrier.
It's hard to get traction at that age because a lot of the time, from what I've seen, when you see the young kids, they're not funny at the start.
One's funny when you start,
but not in front of adults, grown adults.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like they're probably funny in front of their peers, but it's just it's the difference in their humor and what they're.
I still feel that way, where it's like, oh, I can't relate to this crowd of 45-year-old people. They're not gonna.
I don't think you have any blockages now.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But
great.
I still like, and I feel like ultimately, the biggest.
Tell me what it's like.
The biggest barrier to entry is that people think you're not like taking it seriously. And that like, this
you're
kid,
just there for fun.
Just there for fun. He's gonna be here, for a few months, and then he'll leave. It's just a phase.
Right.
And that's not necessarily. I mean, it definitely wasn't the case. I'm not saying I'm in a much better place now, but I'm here now. And,
yeah. I mean, dude, you definitely are.
Oh,
I wouldn't have you on the podcast if I didn't think you're a good comic.
No, I appreciate it.
And not that my opinion means anything,
Yeah.
but it's all we have here, guys.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
No, but then there's like, okay, well, how do I convince people that like this is something that matters to me, and then how do I convince people that I'm worth listening to, and because then there's the other thing is like, as an audience member, you see a literal child, because I feel like I look young right now, but when I was like graduating high school, starting comedy, I looked like a kid, and that's always awkward. It's an awkward situation. You just have fun with it.
I bet you had some awesome moments though.
Yeah, because I was discovering like stand up at the same time as I'm like learning things about the world. So like the first time I ever did like an open mic, I show up to the comedy club in San Diego, and there's a dude with like a crack pipe smoking crack outside of the club, and I was like, yup, this is it. I'm becoming an adult. This is what adulthood looks like. You deal with people that are smoking crack. Come to find out, that guy was like constantly getting in trouble at the club for like doing comedy and smoking crack outside of the. But I don't know. It's weird growing up within comedy, because you learn that there's like so many degenerates and losers, and it takes a second to understand that like, oh, these degenerates and losers are specific to this like one. This isn't the whole world. The whole world isn't filled with this. That being said, the whole world also isn't filled with like super. I don't know. You grow up around characters. You grow up around people that are like really self-absorbed. You also doing comedy in like a smaller city. There's this. You're kind of disconnected from the idea of like making it or like being a professional. It just feels like a different goal that you're reaching for. Whereas like you're doing comedy in like a really big city, it's easy to have the context of like, oh, this is gonna take a while.
Yeah, okay, here. So what was it that at 17 even where did the inspiration come from to even try it?
Oh, I've tried doing it sooner, but people wouldn't let me go up because I was a kid. But
wow, you've been keen for a while.
Oh, it's just being a fan of it though, and also there's some like narcissism to it. Like I have things to say, I want people to listen to this, but like growing up being like a giant fan and like obsessing over it, and then like only consuming comedy, only watching comedy, listening to albums, listening to podcasts, being a fan. I like to this day I still don't understand how someone could like watch comedy and be a fan of it and not want to do it, not want to have some like stake in the game.
People are scared, and I've got some really good friends at home that are just so fucking funny. They're just funny, and great personalities, very articulate in the way they speak, and I just think what a shame they haven't tried it. And I asked them, would you ever try comedy? Like, nah, I could never do it. I could never do it.
Yeah.
People are scared, and I get it. It takes some balls to get over. It's not that getting on stage is hard. Mm-hmm. It's getting over yourself is hard.
Yeah, and understanding that like it's gonna be bad.
Yeah,
it's gonna be bad for a while. That's my favorite part about like being new at stand up, and I still consider myself new. Like I haven't been doing this a long time. I'm a kid. I'm a baby. Not in like a pick me way, but like I'm just having the like wherewithal. Like this is gonna be bad for a while. It's going to be bad for a while. And there's going to be moments where it feels good and it feels like I'm doing good. But understand that, like, you're bad. Yeah. And keep working to get better, because it's not going to be good for a long time. When you hear people that are like, I don't know, the idea is like you don't find your quote unquote voice until you're like 9-10 years in, and you don't develop general like skills of like being on stage and like controlling a room, let alone like figuring out what you think is funny and figuring out how to translate what you think is funny. But yeah, it's a long game.
And it's funny because the longer I'm in this, and the further down the path I go, the more I realize how true that is.
Yeah, and then
because there is a certain naivety when you first start. You're like, nah, I can do this. I can pick this up quick. And you have a few good shows. You're like, yeah, I got this. And then the longer I'm in it, I'm realize, nah, I don't have it, and this is going to take a really long time.
But more than that, you also get humbled in that like you get booked on a show and you're like, yeah, this show's important. This means something. This is going to be awesome. And then it passes. And it's like, oh, that didn't mean shit. That didn't get me any higher, any lower. And not that there's any like one show that's going to save your life or make you the biggest person in the world, but You just learn that like everything's day to day. It's a long process, and you just got to work on yourself to get better. There's not going to be, I don't know. Comedy's really humbling, and that's my favorite part of it.
It is, yeah. It's the highest highs and the lowest lows. It's made me a better person, I think.
Okay, nice.
Like it's just like
snaps.
You know,
give it up to that.
Just like internally, it's made me a lot more aware of myself, and it's made me have to. It's forced me to really pick up my mental game, how I treat myself, how I talk to myself, because after I bomb, which I kind of feel like I've got out of 3 shows, I do really well on one, bomb one, and do average on one. That's kind of like, so I'm, you know, there's like, and I don't mean bomb, like I'm still getting some laughs, but it's pretty bad, you know? And so I walk away feeling like shit, and it's just, I've started to turn the mental game around, where before I was like, oh, for 2 days, man, I was like, fuck.
Just killing yourself.
Fucking.
I call those self-hate nights.
Oh, and they're awful. But now I'm like, yeah, man, pick yourself up, brush yourself off. You're going to be all right.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I feel like it's making me a better person, because what's the point in sitting in the bullshit?
Right.
You got to just move on.
Keep going.
You got to keep going.
Keep going.
And
head down.
that I think you can apply to your whole life. So
self-hate nights are good though. Every now and then to like reassess and like, oh, I'm not shit. Keep my head down. If you get too high, knock yourself off the pedestal a little bit, and then keep stepping. Then that makes you work harder sometimes.
Yeah, I completely agree. But I very rarely think that I'm the shit. Anyway, even if I have a good night, I have this thing in me that doesn't allow me to go, oh, I'm the fucking shit. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm the shit. I feel like maybe I should feel like I'm the shit sometimes.
Every now and then. That's what I'm saying. Maybe, I mean, who knows? Maybe I'm a bad person because I have no middle ground. It's either I'm level 10, don't nobody fuck with me, I'm the greatest. Or I'm like, oh man, I'm never going to be shit. Like there's no middle ground for me.
Yeah.
Which maybe I should find. But also the nights where you're like, I'm hot shit, don't talk to me. Those are good nights too. You're just stepping, you're crushing.
Actually, dude, I've had a few. Like I did this one show a little while ago and fucking killed. And I walked out, I was like, I'm the fucking man.
Yeah, it
feels good.
So when I first started comedy, I did a couple of shows, felt good, and then this guy texted me and was like, hey man, I really want you on my show. It's gonna be at this one like small independent club, small room. And in this beach in like Pacific Beach, it was like a beach town in San Diego, and I was like, oh hell yeah, it's gonna be a hot room. There's gonna be young people there. I'm excited to do this show. I'm on a run. I've been doing well. I show up to the show and I find out it's a rap music comedy variety show, right? In a wrestling ring, in an independent wrestling venue, right? And I'm like, okay, well it could be fun. Show gets closer to starting. I bring 2 of my friends who are like gonna help me record and like set up some cameras and stuff. And like I'm realizing no one else is showing up. There's no one in this room except for my 2 friends that I brought. And I'm looking at the owner of the venue. I'm like, hey man, are we just gonna cancel the show? What are we gonna do? He's like, no. I was like, all right. And one of the rappers shows up and is like, hey, we don't have a DJ yet, so we're gonna delay the show. And I was like, what do you mean you don't have a DJ? He's like, we don't have a DJ. This guy said he could come down and DJ real quick. So then this DJ shows up, sets up this rinky-dink like fold-up table and starts like playing music. And then the guy that booked me was like, okay, I'm gonna go up, rap a couple of songs, then you're gonna go. I was like, there's nobody here. Whoa. He's like, I know, I just want to get through my song. So he goes up and raps. It's shit. And then I go up and the DJ doesn't know that I'm not a rapper, so he keeps playing music. And I was like, all right. So I like for fun, I was like, I'm gonna start freestyling. So I start freestyle rapping. It's I'll send you the video. It's so fucking bad. And then I'm like, hey, buddy, you can turn off the music. And he was like, what? I was like, please turn off the music. And I try to tell jokes to my 2 friends that are there. And then it just immediately was like, this is a shit show. This is terrible. This is not fun.
I feel I'm cringing.
It hurts. It hurts. And yeah, that's one of those nights where it's like, I'm not shit. This is the worst. This doesn't matter.
Dude, it really hurts. Like, I've had like the depression from a bomb last for like 2 days before. Like, especially when I first started, it was brutal.
I've never had a depression from doing bad on stage, but I have had a depression from doing a show that was like, oh, these people wasted my time. These people don't respect me as a person, to where they had me rap in a wrestling ring to my 2 friends that I brought that they charged $10 to get in. That's where I get pissed off, because it's like, I don't mind doing any show. I don't mind doing bad. I don't mind doing, like, I'd love to do good, but if I do bad, I do bad. That's part of it.
Yeah.
But where I get pissed is like, oh, you had me here for 2 hours to waste my time. And not even just waste my time. At this point, it's a waste of everyone's time. Because what the fuck are we doing here for 2 hours? And you're going to have me rap? You're going to have me rap? This is bullshit. And like, that story has happened a dozen times with a dozen other shows. Where, like, you do an indie shows, like, I'm cool thank you for the stage time, but like, what are we doing here? What are we doing as a group? This isn't.
Have you done indie shows where you've rocked up and there's not even any audience? They've just sold no tickets?
Yeah, a dozen times.
Yeah.
I've produced shows where there's no one in the room except for the few people that I brought. And sometimes those are the best shows.
Yeah.
But other times it's like, oh man, this was a waste of time for everyone involved. This is a waste of. Yeah, that's what I've been thinking about a lot in comedy, is like, how do I get people to care about not just like my act or what I'm doing, but like if you're producing shows, like, how do you get people to care and come out? Especially in New York, there's a dozen shows happening at any moment. You know, not any, that's hyperbolic, but you know. And so like when you're in like selling tickets mode or like promotional mode, it's like, how do I get people to care about this product that I'm putting out? You know, even like with doing a podcast or with doing any kind of content, is like, you could do it. It could look great. It could look amazing. But like, at what point does it become doing it in vain if no one's, if the product isn't like well received or well appreciated, or not even well received, but received at all? Yeah. Like, I've done podcasts of my own, or like worked really hard, worked 7 nights straight on like editing a video or putting a video together. It's like, oh, a dozen people saw this, you know? And so just figuring out as
where your time's best
as
spent.
someone making something, it's not, it maybe not even best spent. It's like, what can I do to make sure that this is of value to other people other than just me? And I think that translates well to like telling jokes too, is like, at what point am I like a degenerate rambling on stage versus someone that has something to say that like matters? And I don't even mean like matters as in like I'm making a statement about the world and changing the like world peace and ending this, but like matters in that like, this is worth watching, this is entertaining, you know.
Do you find that with your stuff, you like with your material in general, do you try and write stuff that actually does matter? Like, where do you find your material from and where do you pull it from?
I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty irritable. Like, I get upset, but that's also not entirely true, or like, but I don't know. I'm a shitty writer. I'm going to be honest. I'm a shitty writer. I don't think I write the strongest. I think I excel at like being entertaining, but what's that worth, you know? Damn, not to get all ranty. I feel like I got ranty and preachy in the past 5 minutes.
I love it. Keep going,
but,
man. This is what it's about.
Yeah. I don't know, personal. Everyone says write personal, so you try to be personal. But then at what point is like, oh, why do we care about this guy's, you know, dinner that he had that was a shitty dinner experience, you know? Or why do we care about this guy's maybe someone's going through a relationship problem they're talking about on stage. It's like,
I think it's easy to feel like that, but it's also, you don't know, man, like sometimes it's the simplest things, the most basic little points that you're like, I know exactly what this person's talking about.
Right? And how do you find that? And where does that exist? You know?
Yeah.
Also, excuse me, I burped. Good call on the sparkling thing. You were right. You had a point.
It always happens, but it's all right. I've been burping too.
No, I mean, you have a point though of like but how do you find that middle ground? You know, it's tough. It's not easy. It's not fun. I mean, it is fun, but it's not like a magic overnight thing.
No. Do you write on stage or do you write prep it before you
I find that like the most comfortable stuff and the most natural stuff and the funniest things often come from like a riff that happened in the moment or like writing on stage. But I know that's also not productive to just be like, I have this idea, let's go play with it. Because then at that point you can be wasting stage time that is like tough to come by, or you're even like wasting the people's time in the room because it's like, all right, well, this guy just rambled for 3 minutes in hope of finding something. So like there's a middle ground for sure. Like this is what I'm working on. Let me play with it, but let me not play with it to.
Yeah, I think you got to have some idea of what you're going to say.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like written down in full, but I think you got to have some idea. Just a few like points.
Yeah.
And you got to go with it.
You should have the structure. You should have a bit.
Yeah.
You know, don't go up there with.
I tend to just go up there with a thought.
Nice.
And then I just transcribe it after. That's what I've been doing lately. It's kind of been working, but
especially if you're hitting mics that are like bullshit and it's just other like comics in the room. Yeah, by
exactly.
On the show,
yeah, on a show it's a little different. So what I did want to ask you is, what's your thoughts on AI at the moment? Because I'm working on a bit with AI, and it's interesting because I've just started using ChatGPT.
Okay, nice.
Quite a bit. Not for comedy, obviously, because have you ever tried to put a joke through ChatGPT?
I don't.
It can't.
Yeah.
I was doing a roast, and I was like, oh, I'm going to see what it comes up with. It's just bullshit.
Yeah.
You can't use ChatGPT for anything. But what I do is for like the copy for my podcast, like I run it through, it spell checks everything, it comes back perfect.
Nice.
But I was talking to a guy the other day, and I asked him, I said, what do you think about ChatGPT, AI? Is it going to make kids smarter through school? Is it going to make them dumber? And he said to me, well, it depends on the kid. You know, if they're curious kids and they want to learn, then it's great because they've got all this information there. But if they're dumb kids, lazy, they're just going to become more stupid. And I was thinking, well, that second kid, that would have been me in school. I did not want to work. But what do you think? What's your thoughts on that?
I feel like as far as like kids going through school, so there's always like the split. Like this kid wants it, this kid doesn't. And but I think that's like every person either has the like they want to work or they don't want to work. And I'm not saying like work in the sense of like you know, put my head down and figure something out, but like they want to think on themselves, or they have the curiosity to like push. And I don't think ChatGPT is gonna ruin that. I think where ChatGPT is like gonna make us suffer is like it's gonna kill. It's gonna make everything kind of like one note. If that makes sense.
It does make sense.
It's going to make everything kind of like onto this straight path because of like when you look at a flyer or something, you could tell that AI made it, whether it's good or bad, whether it looks nice or like is like a solid product. You could tell when it's AI, and just because it's got like AI almost speaks like with an accent, you know, and you could tell the accent's there almost 100% of the time.
Yeah, you're right. It does kind of flatten the curve a little bit.
Even if we're like making good work with it or doing anything, it's gonna be super monotone, and I'm fine with that if that's how. Because I know I don't want to make. I try to avoid AI like in general. If it's something I truly can't do for myself or like don't have the skill or know how to do it, then I will go to AI if I can't find someone else.
I think it's just so time effective. Holy hell! Because I've never been a very good speller.
Okay, nice.
I'm not good at spelling. I don't know why. It was just something I could never. I think I might have a little bit of something in me, a little bit of dyslexia, just a tiny bit.
Nice.
I just never could spell well.
Okay.
And it was just one of. It's like the memory. You know, we were saying about someone's name. It would just never stick. So I always am very paranoid about sending something out without it getting checked.
Yeah.
And that's why for me it's been like it takes so much anxiety away. I'm not sitting there reading it 4,000 fucking times.
Yeah, it still pisses me off though. Like even interacting with ChatGPT, because it's like, don't try to be human. Don't try to be. You know that you're a tool.
But the funny thing is, the more you use it, the more it starts to figure out who you are. And that's the crazy thing, because the more I've been interacting with it, it's now knows.
Going on dates with it, it's really getting to know you. That's nice.
It's crazy. And now I'm starting to say please and thank you to it, like it's like my friend.
You know how much money like that wastes just saying please and thank you, because then it has to respond and think of ways to respond to please and thank you.
It's kind of wild. But also there's people that are now worried about their jobs being taken.
Yeah, but then at that point, it's like, was that a real job then?
Exactly.
Did you need to have that job?
Exactly. That is what that's what I'm trying to like wrestle with my mind. I'm like, hang on, if your job can be taken by a computer, that's a shit job.
Yeah, like we should. I'm all for automating things, but where I'm not, where I don't think AI should exist is in the creative space. 'Cause that's where it'll make it one note. But if you're like like an accountant or something, or like I think that's where like AI would be good because it would free mental capacity for more creative spaces. You get what I'm saying?
100%.
Like it would get rid of so like say in a production you need someone to run the papers and like figure out, you know, payroll and stuff. That person's gone, so now we have more of a budget to spend on the creative part of the. Not saying that person's job wasn't important, but now we could maybe focus on like props or someone that's doing like
100%,
like an actual service to the product.
It's interesting thought though, because this is what I'm trying to wrestle with in my mind is like humans, and we invented this thing. We invented the computer.
Right.
Okay. Now the computer has now invented AI. And now AI is taking the job of the person that invented this whole thing in the first place. It's this like circle of life. It's almost like birth, life, and death, in the sense of in a weird way.
But that's where I applaud it. Is like we need to be freed from one from one thing to let us work on other things, right? So if AI can do that, like if AI could get rid of, you know, I can't even think of like what it could or couldn't get rid of, but like if it's making the job useless so that I could focus on another job, I'm all for it.
I agree. And if more people can get into creative things, then that's going to be amazing.
Also, and if there's like a real creative person, then that's not going to disappear. There's always going to be people that want to make something original and make something of value.
Yeah.
And if that's always within people, then we're still going to have original products. And that being said, like I said, it's easy to tell when something's AI, and it's easy to be like, I don't want it. I personally don't want to consume like an AI product. Does that make sense? Like I want to know that the like art or the entertainment that I'm taking in was from someone's thought and of value.
100%.
And so
but I don't think AI could ever, like, comedy. AI could never do comedy because that has to come from the person. It just has to. I just can't see how AI could ever interact with comedy. Movies, AI could probably write a good movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. But could it
but like I'm
project
saying,
the emotion?
Like the people that want to like watch good movies and like watch like an art house film or like watch something that's like of value, they're not gonna go to the AI stuff. The AI stuff that's made, that's fine. That people are gonna want to people consume shit off. That we have Mission Impossible number God knows how many right now that just came out and is doing numbers at the box office because people want to consume it. You know, the people that want to watch the easily digestible stuff and like the AI stuff, that's fine. But there's always going to be a group of people that want the like extra. You know how many people watch movies in a language they don't understand with no subtitles because they think it's like artistic and good? A lot of people, and it's shit. And there's always going to be people that want to watch that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, that's kind of.
You know how much music is bad music, but people enjoy it because they can say that they enjoy it? That's always going to be around.
Dude, I feel like the whole Drake craze, everyone gets so into him. I was like, this is the worst fucking music ever.
Right.
I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Right.
So, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. But yeah, dude. SpaceX,
like rockets and shit?
Yeah. Did you see that his last 2 rockets that he went up didn't make it up?
They didn't make it up? They came.
Yeah.
What happened? They crashed?
Yeah. They just didn't make it through. And I was like, oh, I wonder if that's sabotage. Because you know how Elon is getting like copying a lot of shit right now in the world?
He's copying it? What do you mean copying?
Like he's copying shit.
Copying shit. Like he's getting
shit like because of all the political stuff that he got involved in.
Right.
I was like, ooh, I wonder if there's sabotage in the rockets.
I hope so. That'd be cool as shit. No, because we need things to not be going good. Right? We need things to not be going good for there to be change. And SpaceX was going too good for too long.
They have the monopoly.
They have like in terms of like on space travel.
Yeah, well,
Katy Perry just got sent to space, right? Who did that?
I heard that last night. That was an
independent thing.
No, that was the Jeff Bezos' rocket. I'm pretty sure. That is so. Would you go on a rocket up to space? I would not do it. No. I would not risk my life. I feel like I want to see a million.
I want like 4th generation rockets going to space.
Dude, I want 10th generation. I want 10,000
and even
trips.
then, I'm so broke. I'd probably be flying on like the Spirit Airlines spaceships. I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to the moon this weekend. They're like, ooh, what airline are you flying? I was like, fuck, I'm on the Spirit rocket.
I just have no.
Even now, I'm like, if I find out that an airline opened a new route to somewhere, I'm like, I'm gonna wait to head to Panama City maybe until they figure that out because I don't trust the SpaceX freaks me out because in California you used to be able to like see when they would launch at night and it didn't look right. It always looked like an asteroid or some type of shit was falling, or there was too much going on for it to be like an actual good smooth process.
Wow.
So I don't trust
it either. Do you know that Elon has SpaceX? They have the majority of the satellites in space. They've got like thousands and thousands of these satellites, right?
But then how many fucking satellites are in space?
Well, eventually there's going to be millions of these things.
But then how are we going to be able to leave? If we're going to bump into the satellite?
There's a problem. So they're now firing rockets up. They're now firing, missiles into space.
To take out the satellites.
To take out satellites, right? So Russia just did a demonstration on how they have these rockets that can go. I know, that can go into space, that can fly through this whatever atmosphere into space, and they knocked out one of their old satellites from like the 1970s.
Oh god!
So then,
is it coming back down?
No. So what happens is the junk,
okay,
and all the shrapnel and stuff from that explosion then goes through space, and now it's flying.
And now it becomes more satellites.
So then that starts hitting satellites, and now what they're worried will happen one day is if we start doing more of this, it just creates this.
The good ones get knocked out.
The good ones are all going to get knocked out. Then that one gets knocked out. That creates its own junk, and now you've got that hits another one junk, and then what happens is you've now got this atmosphere that you can't even go through because it's just. Then we're stuck, dude. We are.
We're already pretty much stuck.
We're marooned on an island that we can never get off no matter what happens. And then that's really the end of humanity.
We can't like send one that'll just like shove. We got to send the explosive ones.
We would have to. You would have to have some sort of armored. But you got to imagine these things are flying at like...
I've seen Interstellar.
Jamie, pull this up, please. Jamie, pull this up. I think they're flying at like...
It's got to be thousands.
Thousands of miles an hour. Like
You know what's crazy is I'm just finding out about this, and it took an Australian dude in a podcast and a bookstore to tell me that. I didn't watch the news. I didn't read this in like an article. It took you telling me that this is happening for me to be like, oh man, I think we got a problem.
It's crazy. It's crazy. The race that they're all trying to do at the moment, like China, Russia, India, America, they're all trying to get satellites.
How did India get a fucking leg in the game?
India's got a space station. Like they've got a space program.
Like a solid program?
Yeah.
Damn.
India's pretty advanced.
No, I'd assume so.
They actually think India's probably going to be one of the... Like China may be next, superpower.
Okay.
Sorry, America may not be number one forever.
No, it's fine.
America will always be number one.
I'm so excited for America to fall because then that could be like, yeah, man, I came from America. Struggle.
Dude,
we got it out the mud.
We're from the hood.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying like then I could talk shit about other countries like, oh, it must be nice to be in first world China. First world China. Yeah, in China you guys got all that luxury and shit. We're just in measly old America.
Yeah. Well, did you see with this, Trump just passed this bill that's called this big beautiful bill. And it's, Trump fucking it's just big, beautiful, whatever. I can't do Trump. Anyways, and he's now injected like another nearly 200 billion into the Pentagon for this golden dome. Have you heard about that?
Oh, it's supposed to be like a protection.
It's like the Iron Dome that Israel has.
Here's the thing. It works in Israel because they got like a couple blocks to take care of.
It's tiny.
They got a couple blocks to take care of.
Also, they've got direct threats. They've got these countries around them that throw missiles, that launch missiles their way. So it's understandable to have something like that. America has no threats. Yeah. It seems to me like a huge waste of money just feeding into...
Here's my pitch. I say we keep the dome, but we were selective about where we get it. Maybe Iowa doesn't get a dome. Yeah. Maybe Nebraska, domeless. Parts of Arkansas, no dome.
Yeah. I would assume that they've thought about that. Like, surely they're not protecting the national parks.
When Trump, we should protect the national parks. Always protect the national parks. But when Trump pitched it, they were like, okay, nice, good idea. But like, Kansas isn't going to get it. Like, nah, we're not going to take care of Kansas. We got the Eastern Seaboard on lock, parts of the Southwest, Pacific Northwest because it's pretty. But like the middle, we could maybe cover. Texas got themselves.
South Florida, let's maybe leave there.
Texas is covered. We don't need to worry about Texas. They could do it themselves. Yeah. Maybe.
I would assume that they're just going to do where the concentration of life is. Like, surely out of suburbia in New Jersey, they're not going to have a golden dome. Like, what would be... Like, you know what I mean? Just...
There's enough Italian, like, grease and meatballs. Well,
it's just like if you drop... It's just if you dropped a bomb, you're going to kill maybe 200 people. if you dropped a bomb in the middle of New York, you're going to kill thousands and thousands of people. You got to, anyways. All life is worth protecting,
but some to not as much as others. That's a fact. I'm with you on that. I don't think. Sorry,
but
we couldn't make it out there, man.
But what I was going to say is what he's done now is where he got the money from to cover this? He pulled the money out of food stamps.
Oh shit.
And healthcare. So now there's going to be 6 million people in America that don't get free healthcare anymore. Like we're talking like the lowest of the low, and there's going to be something like.
It's me.
There's going to be something like, I don't know the exact figure.
How many people?
There's going to be millions and millions of people that don't get food stamps anymore. And I have a friend that's a comic. I think he probably won't care if I mention his name. Noah Reedy. I don't know if you know him, but his family. He's an amazing comic. He's going to be a killer, and his family like grew up on food stamps.
Yeah.
And he was explaining to me like how beneficial it was for them because he's single parent household. His mum. They got their house taken off them because they couldn't afford to pay them the rent. Like they struggled, and he said if they didn't have food stamps, they would have starved. And he said he was already like a malnourished kid that wasn't even enough food. And I was like, isn't that fucked up?
Food stamps are important. I think EBT is great. It's such an important survival like what it does is it frees the income that would have gone to that to go to other things, and even like. Then it's still not enough sometimes. And which is why I think we shouldn't make the dome as big and we should leave parts of the country uncovered. But no, what were you going to say?
Also, it's a good initiative in the sense of, the money's going to something good. Like you can't use that food stamp
outside of anything.
You can't use it for anything. You can't use it for junk food. You can't take it to McDonald's. You can't take it to Hungry Jack's. Oh, you guys don't call it Hungry Jack's. We call you guys call Burger King. We call it Hungry Jack's.
Is it the same thing though?
Same thing, exactly.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a good initiative in the sense they're not going down the road and buying.
They could only use it on money. Yeah, that's super important. It's also like because then it brings in the conversation of like universal basic income and like what's the benefit of UBI? And some people are like, well, if people are receiving this free benefit, they're not going to be as inclined to work. And it's like, that's not the case. People aren't reaching out to food stamps as like a means of like, oh, let's take advantage of this free money from the government so that we can do whatever we want. It's like, no, this is a last resort. We need this to survive and to like cover the other expenses to keep living. And that's why I think it's important to not take it away. That being said, are there people that I know that like take advantage of like free government programs? For sure, 100%. But that can't speak for the overall, bunch of people that need this to survive.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on universal income?
I go back and forth.
Did you say universal basic income? What did you call it?
Yeah, universal basic income, where it's
I just didn't know what the correct term was.
That could be wrong. But
I don't know.
I go back and forth in terms, and it kind of goes like to what I was saying about AI.
That's kind of like a socialist point of view, isn't it?
Right. And it's like if you have this like amount of money that everyone receives every month, there's going to be the people that are like, okay, cool, I have this, I don't need to do anything else with my life. But then there's also going to be the people that are like, okay, thank you for giving me this. How do I work? Now I'm free to work harder on this other thing to like
frees up,
make it that excel.
100%.
And so
I think you're always going to get these people that don't want to do anything, and that's fine. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? They're still going to spend their money. They're still going to go down to restaurants and buy food. They're still driving the economy in their little minute way. It doesn't matter. But then majority of the people get up and want to do something.
Something with the day. And I don't even just mean like something what's the word? Something productive, but like just be out and spending money. Yeah. That's positive, right? And so the question is like, okay, well, a lot of people were like, well, there's always an imbalance of effort. And what it was like, but does the universal basic income create that imbalance of effort, or is that already present? Because there's so many pieces of shit people that are on their couch right now doing absolutely nothing. And would the universal basic income change their life and like make them do something? No, but it would change the life of someone that is in pursuit of something but can't pursue that entirely because they're held back by financial gains.
But also, it's so easy to look at the negative in something, in the sense of if you put 100 people together yeah, you're always going to get the couch dwellers.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we've put so much emphasis on people like the couch dwellers that we feel like that is a majority in life, where it's not. These guys are such a minority, and politics have done that. It's like almost like the trans issue. Like we've blown up, we've given so much emphasis to all that, where they're like 0.0001% of the economy.
Yeah.
But they've now become this huge thing. So in the sense of, yeah, okay, there's always going to be couch, there's always going to be that, but it's like, it's probably, in reality, they're 1%. It's 1%. 99% of people will do something.
Yeah. And I don't even mean like do something in terms of like a creative pursuit or any of that, but like we would have more doctors or like more lawyers or more public servants or people working for the greater good, because they're able to pursue a career that's worth something, as opposed to just working this job that helps them survive right now, that makes them live paycheck to paycheck. And I'm not saying universal basic income should like cover everyone's life, but like, you know, what does a world look like where people don't have to worry about getting groceries week to week?
I think
what does
it'd
the
be
world,
amazing.
you know?
I think it'd be amazing.
Or what does the world look like when like housing doesn't?
I think as a citizen, as a global citizen, you should have some basic needs just met. I think you should have free healthcare,
Right.
free medication, water, food, and at least some subsidized living, like affordable living. I just think that is just a bare minimum.
But the conversation of affordability turns into, okay, well, what's affordability for who, and what are they doing to make it affordable for themselves?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying these things are like, I don't necessarily think there should be universal basic income, but the conversation is fun to think about. Is like, what does the world look like when these types of stripes are taken away from people?
Yeah, it has to. It's probably gonna have to go in that direction. If so many of our jobs now, the way that they are probably going to end up being automated. They're going to be automated. Like cars will end up being automated. You know, deliveries will be automated.
Or straight up don't exist. I just graduated college last year. I can't tell you a single person I know from my graduating class that has a real job.
Really?
And I don't mean real job in the sense of like they're paid and making money, but like, what do you mean you're like an editor for you? Edit podcasts that's not a real fucking job, but it's good because they get to pursue that and do what they want. But like, you know, what does the world look like if we're all doing? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Is like,
yeah.
Everyone's complaining is like if they have money, they won't be doing things that are like useful or like blah blah. It's like, yeah, none of us are doing anything useful.
None of it means anything really, but it in a sense it kind of doesn't.
Yeah.
The only meaning we put to this is what
you choose.
Yeah, but. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's funny because I've said this a few times on this podcast. Like, I don't know anyone in America. I haven't met anyone in America in particular. Australia is different, but in America, I've met no one that is actually working in the industry that they did their like university degree for.
Yeah. You went to university?
No, I didn't go to university.
Good call.
Yeah, I just went straight into the workforce. Got an apprenticeship as an electrician.
Okay, what was that like?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Electricians make good money
Good money.
Here, I don't know about.
Yeah, good money at home too. Like union job. I worked in the mines.
Hell yeah.
I haven't always done union jobs. I've done non-union jobs, but I'm a really big fan of the union. Big union guy. Yeah. I think it's so important.
Workers.
Protects workers. The pay difference is so vast. Like, to put it into perspective, if I did a union job at home, I would probably get, my take-home pay would be like maybe $2,500 a week in the hand after tax. The equivalent job, non-union, would be like $1,850 a week.
Damn, it's a
huge difference. And not only that,
but then health
on this
benefits.
one on union, I get healthcare is kind of free in Australia.
Oh, true. So we didn't even think about that.
Yeah, but we do have private health. People do have private health. But anyways, so here I would get like more superannuation, which is your like 401k, almost 3 times as much. I get redundancy. I get I get like travel allowances, tool allowances. I get paid just to turn up every day. $50 just to turn up every day to work.
Just to show up.
To show up.
Yeah. Regardless of
I get paid if I'm on a high rise. I get paid more money
because of the
height and side allowances. You know, like it's It's amazing.
Yeah.
So your quality of life is so much better, and that's just because a whole bunch of people decided to get together and go, hey, let's protect what we've got, because this employer...
Because this job is of value,
Yeah.
and they need us to do this job.
They need us to do it.
Yeah.
And that employer isn't looking after us.
Mm-hmm.
No one's looking after us unless we look after ourselves. So
Yeah.
unions crazy. But you can see why industries don't want unions to be around.
Yeah, but it's also it makes sense when the job isn't real. Whereas like an electrician, that's a job that's needed. You have to protect those workers because those workers are doing a service that the world needs. You know, whereas like, yeah, you shouldn't have a union in like I don't know.
Yeah. What did you study at uni?
I studied journalism.
That's great.
It's great to an extent. I worked in news for a couple of years during and after college, and
like commercial news, like
local news,
Yep.
like local news. I worked in like the production side and like writing, and yeah, it was great. But then just quickly realizing, it's like, oh, I don't want to do this. This is what I went to school for, but I don't.
You're a cog in the machine.
Yeah.
When you do those jobs.
That, and then you learn a lot about news that like I didn't agree with, and I didn't like the way, that this product was being made. And
did you ever see? Because a journalist is ideally, it's not really like this now, but journalism is supposed to be neutral. You're supposed to be very neutral and not be biased. If you're going to be a sound journalist, it's hard not to be sometimes. But I noticed through COVID, we all know that the commercial news stations, they're all bought and paid for by people, and they usually have a bias. And
which we were bought by a bigger corporate. We were owned by a bigger corporation.
Okay. Did you sense that while you were working there, that there were angles in which you couldn't write about something or present because of that?
So what's crazy is the news station I worked for initially was a private, like local news station, but then it was bought by a bigger corporation. When we were private, the owners and the director wanted it more leaning towards one political angle than not. But then when we were bought by the bigger organization, they were more like, hey, please do not like write this way. So when we were like independent and like smaller, the owners were able to have a say into like the way it was pushed. And I'm not saying we were necessarily like every day being like, oh, the crazy left is doing this, but there was definitely and
wow, that surprises me.
But because
so it was more beneficial to people reading when it was bought by the bigger company. That's so interesting.
Because the bigger company has more of a responsibility because they lose money. They lose more. There's more money at stake for them if there's a legal issue.
Yeah, and also once you become known as someone that is heavily biased, people then aren't going to go to you as a reputable source of news and information. Like, you're going to go, well, I don't trust these guys. And if you're a journalist or a media company, the last thing you want to do is lose the trust of your people, right?
Right. The biggest thing that I learned working in news was how much money, like what turned me away from news. Yeah. Which is dumb because money should have like kept me there. But how much money is involved in something that so little people pay attention to? Because every night I could see the numbers, and a good night in my county was maybe 1,500 people to 5,000 people watching the news, and in a county that's well over 1 million people.
Whoa!
Right. So there's thousands, millions of dollars spent on trying to get the attention of 5,000 people at any given time.
It's not a lot.
Which is nothing compared to like you're on YouTube, you easily have a video that has like over 100,000, over 1 million views. And so learning that these companies and corporations that have been around forever are still throwing money and like fighting over deals to get the attention of just 5,000 people in a county. Hell, even if they were fighting to get the attention of 50,000 people, I would still be dumbfounded because you're making enough to keep this whole business running, this whole organization, and then eventually 2 whole organizations running because we got bought out and we're partnered with another one on, paying salaries, paying, the whatever it costs to keep the building going, paying the cost of, just broadcasting is expensive, paying the cost of production, having all these cameras. And we're able to keep that all running just off fighting for the attention of of 5,000 people.
Wow.
Which is insane to me.
It is. Do you think that these media companies will end up just going bust eventually? Because that's not sustainable, surely.
Maybe
Well,
not.
what's floating them?
What's floating them is the people that still think 5,000 people is a lot to pay attention to. Because like a lot of the people that were in charge were older people and didn't understand that like the reach of the internet is so much more broad than the reach of like local transmitting. And I'm not saying local news is going to die entirely and do that, but like it made me rethink what I do as a creative, because it's like, okay, if the people are willing to spend this much money to get the attention of 5,000 people, what's my threshold as a creative or someone that's making a product or someone that's like working to make things in general, so that other people will pay me to have that attention of these people? You know, how much attention do I need to garner for it to be worth something to another company? And that's when you start looking at things and I'm not saying I have a big following on social media or anything, but that's when you start looking at things like brand deals. Okay, well, what makes you important for a brand to spend money on you to talk to people? Or you look at things as like, what makes me capable of selling tickets so that a club will book me? You know, because at the end of the day, that's what's important, is selling tickets and having people in the seats to buy liquor or buy drinks or food. Yeah, and it just made me feel like, oh, everything I do as a creative is in vain if these people are willing to spend this much on just 5,000 views. You know,
it's interesting. Yeah, wow.
Not to get preachy. I feel like I got preachy way too much this episode.
Dude, you're not. Trust me. Don't get in your head about anything. You're great. Okay, so we only got a few minutes left.
Okay, my fault.
I want you to tell, it's not your fault. Okay. Tell everyone your socials and also tell everyone about your podcast.
Okay. My name, so you can find me on Instagram at _fancyclown. I got a new show that just came out the other day, and still there's going to be new episodes and new clips every week. It's called Band for Band. You can find that on Instagram at Band for Band Show. It's a man on the street show with a podcast at the end where we look for, you know, anyone willing to share their most underground artists or niche artists, and we, you know, do a deep dive and find out more about that musician or band or artist.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool.
Yeah, check it out. Band for Band Show. Check it out.
We'll have all the links on the show notes for this episode. Diego?
No, thanks for having me. This is fun.
It's been awesome. Guys, see you in the next one.
Thanks for having me.